What's up YouTube, Cliff here from the Sunday Drive. Today we're going to show you how to completely remove your headlight bezel from your Silverado, including this black strip in the middle, which is a complete pain in the butt. So let's get started. We're going to need trim tools, lots of trim tools. As always, the tools that we'll be using in our video will be linked in the description. We're also going to need pick tools. We're also going to need some Goo Gone. When you go to reinstall your headlights, you're also going to want to get some 3M mounting tape. Make sure it's for exterior or automotive use. So here's the headlight, and here's the bezel. It's important to note that the headlight bezel cannot be purchased separately from the headlight, so be careful. The backside is not only held on by clips, but 3M mounting tape. There are strips running from side to side in 4 locations. One here, here, and here. So as you release the clips, this isn't going to simply pop off, but you're going to have to pry this apart because of that mounting tape. Up top on your headlight bezel, there's 1, 2 clips. On the side, you have 1, 2. These outside 2 are just guides. And on the bottom, you have 1, 2 as well, with this third one just being a guide. So in total, there are 2 on the bottom, 2 on the side, and 2 up top. On the outside edge, or the edge that meets the fender, there are 2 additional clips, although they're not really clips. There's one right on the bottom edge and one right here on the top edge. Now what these actually are hinges. So once you release these other 6, this will hinge and then pull off of your headlight. So here's the headlight, and if you look right on the bottom right here and up top, these are those hinges I'm referring to. So this will be clipped in just like this, and as these outside ones are released on the top, bottom, and side, this will rotate up and lift off. The first 2 clips I like to release are the ones on the inside edge, or the side that will butt up against your grill. You're going to want to get a pick tool underneath of the silver tab, lift up, and then stick a pry tool right in between the bezel and the headlight. Do it gently and be careful not to pry down on the face of your headlight. Do that for both of the side clips. Go ahead and stick a third pry tool behind this black plastic area. Now don't stick it in between the black plastic and the bezel, but just behind where the black plastic is, but underneath of the silver bezel. This will start to separate the 3M tape holding the bezel to the center of your headlight. Now at this point, you can go ahead and remove these 2. If they are holding pressure, you can leave them in there, but most likely the one in the very center will be enough to keep the side of your bezel separated. Don't try to pry off too far until we've went ahead and released the top and bottom clips. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this because my bezel is already loose, so things are sliding around. Next, we're going to move up top. Again, you have 2 clips right here. Go ahead and release these using pick tools or thin pry tools. Go ahead and stick a pry tool in between the bezel and the headlight and do the same up front. Now the bottom is a bit more tricky because of this cover that's located here. I've been able to work around it, but if you wanted to, you could go ahead and remove this. The 2 clips you need to remove are the first ones right here, and the second one, it's a little hard to see, but it's right underneath this area on the bottom. It's very easy to slide a pick tool under here, release the tab, and slowly pry this out. Once you have all 6 of the tabs released, go ahead and work pry tools behind where the 3M tape is mounted. So one in the center and one on either of the sides. Slowly work your way down. Double check your clips as you go to make sure none of the top or bottom clips got reattached, and just work slow and steady. Once you're about halfway, you can start using your hand to work it off. Using heat, again, will help. If you have a heat gun, you can gently heat up the area, and that should help. But do not overheat it. You could risk damaging the headlights or the bezels themselves. When I was removing it, I did not use any extra heat. I just did everything at room temperature, and I was able to get everything removed with nothing breaking. Once the 3M tape is almost completely released, you'll rock this towards the outside of the headlight, and this will pull off. With this removed, you'll notice that there'll be some 3M residue at the center of the headlight and the top and bottom. I was just able to scrape this off using my fingernail because of how smooth the surface is, and it came off pretty easily. If you need to, you can use some Goo Gone. Now on the bottom of your bezel, you do have this outside rubber gasket. Now because I want to get a good paint job on this, I'm going to go ahead and remove this and reinstall it after the painting is done. To remove it, simply lift it up right here and slowly work your way around. There's a thin strip of 3M tape, molding tape holding this in place. As long as you work your way around carefully, it comes off really easily. And that's your rubber gasket removed. Go ahead and just remove any excess 3M tape that's stuck to it. It does come off pretty easily. Now we need to go ahead and remove the 3M tape from the insides of the bezel. So what I like to use is some Goo Gone. Alright, we've been letting this soak for a little while. Now what I like to do is go ahead and take one of the pry tools I've been using and just start scraping off this 3M tape. Now that's looking much better. When you're going to go ahead and reinstall this, you'll notice that there's indications of where the tape should go. You can kind of see it right there, that slight outline. Now because I want to get my bezels painted, I also want to go ahead and remove this center black trim. Now this black trim is extremely delicate and you have to take your time doing this or you are going to break it. So we're going to do this one while it's a little bit warmer. So we're doing this one inside. Now if you look at the back side of this, there are 2 clips right here, one right here, another one here, and then 2 more on this end. You don't want to stick a tool too far up in here that's too wide, otherwise you will break these clips. Now you'll notice that there are these holes visible right here, and you can see through those holes the 3M tape that is also holding this black strip in place, and that's what the real challenge is. So what we're going to go ahead and do is put some Goo Gone down in these holes to help loosen this up. We're also going to put some Goo Gone down the end as much as possible. Now you don't want to go jamming a tool too far down this end, the open end of this black trim, because you have these clips right here. Now we're going to take a pick tool like this. It's obviously narrow. It's not going to break these clips in the middle here. And we're going to go down as far as we can, straight down to the middle to loosen that tape a little. On this end, you're going to want to take a pick tool like this, go up underneath here, and just get that jammed underneath like that. Just be careful of the finish right here, but again, I am getting this painted, so if it gets a little scratched, I'm not too concerned. Now you have these 2 prongs on this end as well. So using the pick tool for leverage, you want to squeeze these together towards the middle and push them out. With the pick tool in there, I'm going to go ahead and insert a thin trim tool. Give me a little additional leverage. Again, just be careful. You don't want to bend this back too far. Now on this open slot right here, again, this is very slow and steady. Pick tool, a 90-degree pick tool, and put that up under here. And again, I've loosened this up ahead of time with Goo Gone. Pry up against the bezel. So basically I'm prying against the chrome part to push out the black part here. Now, as with the other side, you can't pry too far down with a straight pick tool because you will separate those clips and break it. So we're going to take a pointed one and try to go right down the center. Now before I get too far though, there's another clip right here. I want to make sure that clip is released. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm at a point now where this clip is also flush, so I'm going to go up here and start working on this area right there in that next opening. Again, don't ever get hasty. This thing will break, as I can attest. Here's a broken one. Luckily that headlight was trash anyway, but the bezel was not. I was hoping to save it. Alright. Now just don't bend this too far back. Remember, we still have 2 clips up here we got to get out. Push these out. Alright guys, there you go. That is the center piece removed completely, so you can paint this really well now. So these are the clips. See if I can get a good angle so you can see them both. But they are both really close, so if you try to jam a tool in between them like this, you're gonna end up snapping those clips off. That's why I was working with a pick tool to go right down the center. Alright, so finish up, go ahead and removing the 3M tape. We're gonna do this to the other one, and then gonna take it to the body shop to get it painted up. Once you're all done, you're gonna wanna clean this bezels up with some soap and water to get all that oil off from the Goo Gone, just to make sure it's completely ready for paint. Thanks for watching, guys. First time tuning in, please hit that subscribe and give us a big thumbs up. I have a lot more content coming on my Silverado, so stay tuned.